Hi, you're listening to You Betta THiNK, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to You Betta THiNK. This week, we're bringing you a lineup that will definitely keep you engaged and smiling. The topic is music. We all know it. We love it. We all have different tastes, different moods, different times of the day that we want to hear it. It does so much to us that we're going to celebrate it on this segment. We have a great lineup for you. We have 3 guests who are all involved in music in one way or another, either through writing, producing, singing, engineering, mastering, DJing, you name it. I myself am definitely a music lover. I have a deep history, which we will not discuss because I'm not being interviewed, but I'm sure a lot of you out there have a deep history, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with our guests. So before we get started with them, you know how we do. We start with a little bit of relaxing fun, so let's get right into it and holler for a dollar. I have a very vivid memory of a young gentleman who'll know who he is if he's listening to this episode. I was at work and we were co-workers and we got along really well. We sat relatively close to each other and a song came on the radio on. I don't know who was playing it, irrelevant. We all jammed together. And I think I was humming, or I might have even been singing under my breath, not quite sure, but I know that I was into that song. And this young man looked at me and he was like, "Yo, Cass, who sings that song?" And I told him, I don't recall at the time who it was. But that young man looked at me and he said, "Let him." Once it registered, all I could do is laugh. My man was basically telling me, don't fuck it up for me. When he hears his song, it puts him in a certain mood or whatever he's feeling and thinking during the process of that delivery by that artist. He didn't want it interrupted with my rendition because it wasn't eliciting the same feelings from him. Probably because I can't sing. And the most interesting part about that is that I love to sing. If a song moves me, I'm belting it out. And to me, it's just joy because I'm caught up in what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking about as I'm enjoying the artist who is actually singing this song. I have been moved so much that this song has jumped into my spirit and my soul, and we are now in unison. And I am now singing my version because I'm aligning to whoever this person is who's singing it in a way that's moving me. But my version is not moving this young man. So I found it to be a hilarious way to tell me to shut the fuck up. And if you ever need such a manner to get a point across to someone who just won't stop and they might be interrupting your flow when your song comes on and you want to hear the actual artist, try it out. See how far it gets you. And do not tell anyone that you heard this from me, especially if they get an attitude and don't like what you deliver. But I personally, if something's funny, it's funny, even if it's on me. And to me, it was hilarious. So thank you, young man, that I shall keep anonymous.
Hi, you're listening to You Betta THiNK, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass. You better think. Don't be a zombie.
Well, we don't have enough time in this show to describe the accomplishments of our next guest. She's worked with several labels, including Select, Triflin, Not On Label, Active Records, Modern Voices Records, Bottom Line Records. I could go on and on. After Dark Records, Tribal America, Ultra Records, and like I said, I could go on and on. We've heard her all over the world for more than a couple of decades. You've heard her songs, Woman's Intuition, Hustling for Dollars, Hustling for Change, Dance, Body Stimulation, Victim, It Must Be Right, and I could go on and on, as I said, because she's quite amazing. Known for her R&B voice, she's one of the stars of Kings and Queens of Soul, legendary New York City subway diva, currently working on various music projects. It's my honor to introduce to you all Annette Taylor. Annette, you already know I've been following you for a long time and I find you to be amazing. You have an energy that is very welcoming, and in an industry where so many musicians become disengaged from their fans, I want to know how you've managed to stay so personable, humble, and down to earth. And those are my words to describe how I feel about you.
How I stay so personable and humble and down to earth with my fans is because of me singing on the streets of New York City and in the subway system. I'm so close to the audience, and my singing is my passion. I love what I'm doing. It not only makes me feel good, that's why I do it, because I get such pleasure out of it, but I know that I'm touching other people as well, and it's changing their mood and their day, because I've had so many people come to me and say, I was having such a bad day and I heard you sing that song, and it just lifted me up. It just made my day. And it's the same for me. That's why a lot of the songs that I choose, it's an experience that I probably went through, or it's something that I may be struggling with. The reason why I'm drawn to the song to sing it. And this is how I stay humble and close to the audience and close to the fans, is because when I'm singing down the trains and on the streets of New York City, they're so close to me, and it's a beautiful experience to be able to feel their energy as well as me feeling their energy. They're feeling my energy and I'm feeling their energy. And it's a beautiful exchange, and I just thank God that He's given me this gift to be able to do that. And wow, it's a beautiful thing, and that's why have turned out to be the person that I am, and it's because of all of my life experiences and the connections that I have with people. Oh, I'm just now thinking, what really blew me away one day? I was singing in the trains. I was singing at 42nd and 8th. And I noticed these two young ladies, they were sitting there, and they listened to me for a while. And after I finished, they came up to me and says, she was about to commit suicide. And she doesn't want to commit suicide anymore. Your songs touched her, that it turned her spirit around, And I was like, wow. And in that moment, I realized what my gift is for. That's why I'm still down here in these trains singing. I'm saving people's lives. I'm bringing love, peace, and happiness. And this is why I'm so humble. And I thank God for this gift that He's given me, that I can change people's moods and attitudes through the music, through the song.
I couldn't agree with you more, Annette. You definitely have a gift, and I've always been grateful to be able to receive that gift. And as I mentioned earlier, you've been in an industry a while. You wouldn't know it. You look amazing. But you managed to work for decades in an industry where a lot of people burn out. You have a lot of one-hit wonders. A lot of people realize they just can't handle the industry as a whole, emotionally, spiritually, financially even. And you so gracefully have walked through it insofar as you've always been out there giving your gift to us all. I'd like to know how you maintain your passion to sing throughout your career. I mean, we all know we have gifts and all, and we have things we want to do with those gifts, but sometimes we don't use those gifts. So again, how do you maintain your passion?
Yes, I have been singing for decades and decades, and how I just continue to do it is because I'm doing what I love to do. Singing is my passion. Um, it's just so easy to get up and do what you love to do, and I just like to say to everybody out there, especially to the young people, um, find your passion, and hopefully you can find it at a young age. And that way you can develop it, work on it, and ultimately, I mean, the icing on the cake is to be able to do something that you love to do, and the icing on the cake is being paid a large amount of money to do it. And this is the path that I'm on. There's all levels in the music industry, and I made little money and I made lots of money. And I've been consistent at that. I've been able to make a living just solely on being a full-time singer, and I'm so blessed to do, and I feel so blessed to have to be able to do that. But yeah, once again, I mean, this is why I do it, because it's singing is not work for me. It's what I love. It's my passion. It's not a day that goes by that I do not hum something or sing something or thinking about music, doing something with music. And this is how I stay consistent, because I'm doing what I love to do.
Are you listening to You Better Think, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass. You ever notice musicians are basically like gods and icons, and they can almost do no wrong. And even when they do wrong, they're forgiven, whether or not they eat animals on stage or run people over or burn houses down. Whatever they do, we generally say, this person is like iconic, and we love them so much that we understand why they're doing these things. You have people in the audience that are screaming and busting nerve cells and falling all over the floors, fainting and sweating and throwing personal items, screaming, unable to restrain themselves, trying to get on these stages, to just be like in the sweat drops of these people who might be performing. And the hilarious part sometimes is when a couple of years later, the person that's being put in this iconic status is suddenly not so iconic. Something comes out in the news where we find out they're doing something that's just so horrendous that we can't forgive it. For example, some megastar who has about, 500,000 pairs of your drawers and some U-Haul storage limit capacity. And then you find out that star has done something so unimaginable that you can no longer appreciate even the gifts of that star, because you're so overwhelmed with the atrocity that their name is now associated to atrocity. And you're laying there thinking about those custom made panties that you prepared just for him. His favorite color meshed with your scent, with your phone number stitched in, the same phone number you still have. And this damn man did everything that they speak of. Guilty as hell. Proven. And going to prison for a long time. A fallen star. No longer craved by you panty throwers. No longer getting that income, fame. No longer free to even roam because he's imprisoned. And one day your phone rings. Ring. 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 You hear a voice once you pick up say, will you accept a call from that star's name? Now, I'm not going to finish this. I want y'all to finish this in your conversations. Talk about what would you do. Think about it. What do you mean, why is he calling you? He's calling you because you sold your damn number in your drawers.
Hi, you're listening to You Better Think, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass. You Better Think.
So save that panty throwing conversation for later. And right now, we're going to get into a treat. The poetess Chanel blessed us with beautiful words last month, and everybody was on fire, so how could we not bring her back this month? This woman can drop words like water out of a faucet. They come quickly, they come easily, and they come blessed. She has written poems that others have requested to be used as lyrics and songs. I personally accept her blessings in all types of forms to do business. And tonight she's gifting us with some words. As I mentioned to you, the topic is music this month. And that's exactly what the poetess Chanel is bringing to us today. The name of this one?
Music by Chanel. Music eases the pain of a shattered heart. Relationships that were doomed from the very start. I knew it was wrong to fall for you this way, but I eased my pain by listening to that song from Sade. This is no ordinary love, I said to myself, because you were so far away and in love with someone else. You waited till I fell in love with you to tell me the truth. By that time, I was so far gone, I didn't know what to do. So I put a padlock on my heart like Glenn Guthrie said. I found myself and decided to love me instead. Making myself feel better with music, wine, and dance. That song by Vertical Hole put me in a trance. The beat of the song and the sweetest of voices. That's why music is the best form of therapy. It drowns out all the noises. Empowering myself with that Kelly Clarkson song. I felt like a superhero and that I could do no wrong. I ain't a scared little girl no more, that song said. Because I lived in fear for so long, I felt like I was dead. Those words saved my life in so many ways. It inspired me to move on and see another day. Can you stand the rain? Can you really? That song made me evaluate relationships so clearly. Most people can't weather the storm. That's why failed relationships have become quite the norm. But I won't give up on love. No, not me. Love songs give me hope in finding love eventually. Music is universal with so many genres. It's one of the ways it expresses the world's problems. If music disappeared, what would happen? The universe will be void of expression, demise on the horizon. Music is alive, not with just words and beats. It has saved the lives of many for those who have felt defeat.
Chanel, that again was just hot. You know you're on fire with these words. Maybe you don't know. If you don't know, I'm telling you, you have a way of producing that literature where we can all relate to you. Like I said last time you were on the show, you hit in popular everything. You brought back memories for me as well with some of those verses that you played on and some of the artists that you mentioned. thank you again. I just love your work. I'm glad you are available for this month's episode. Like I said, discussing music. Again, music touches us so many ways, depending on the words and the melody, as you just described in your beautiful work. And I am curious to know whether or not you think society does a good job of getting positive messages through top 40 songs, and whether or not you think so. Could you provide us with an example?
American society does not do a good job at promoting positive messages through the top 40 songs. For example, it was like 3 songs that I listened to that promoted hypersexuality, promiscuity, and vulgarity. You know, promoting your vagina is not a positive message for young girls, impressionable young women. And furthermore, it fuels a climate for men to disrespect women and call them out their name. You know, it's one thing to express yourself and declare what you want, but there's a way to do it without being tasteless and crass. You know, songs with profanity and adult-like content are to blame for certain behaviors. You know, not to say that music is the total blame, but music has great influence on people and the world. You know? So until we change the content of the music, it's going to continue to send the wrong type of message and cause havoc on the behaviors of people, of children especially, who are very impressionable. So it's my wish that we will return back to the days when music was wholesome, when music had meaning, and when music delivered positive messages.
Thank you, Chanel, for your authentic opinion on that subject. I think you bring home some points about the emphasis of sexuality and music, that there needs to be some more attention paid in some areas. Of course, there are people out there who do have positive influence on our youth, and we applaud all of them. We simply on this show bring it all to light, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because they do all exist. And I believe if we don't talk about it all, then we can't work on all of the areas. Chanel spoke to songs that she hears commercially all of the time, and she speaks truth. Music does have influence. It is very powerful.
Whether it's drama or comedy, you better think.
Let's talk about the power of music to move people. Have you ever dated anybody and let's say you get into a disagreement, argument, whatever you want to call it, you not feeling that person, and after the course of whatever goes on, you don't want to talk. It's just that simple. You're like, that bastard XYZ, don't call me for a while, be lucky I'm even still with you, kind of thing. You're not taking calls, you're not responding to anything, you're making sure you don't click on certain things in social media because you don't even want to come up as having read something. You don't even want to accidentally touch buttons, so you stay away from the person's name. You might even put them on blocks, not so they won't get to you, but so your ass won't make any calls and break down. You know what I'm saying? You're going full force with this. And you might even go in your block messages and listen to the calls and read the messages, but you're going to keep this person blocked. Person might be sending you flowers and cards, and you may leave them outside for a couple of days. I don't know, depending on your course, or you may even bring them in, but whatever you do, you are not going to acknowledge them to this person. You're going like code 0 with communications, if you feel me. Even your friends are like, come on, so-and-so loves you. Look at all this that's going on in your life, and you're just so damn pissed. You don't even care. But you're not really, like, even thinking about it like a breakup. You're just so caught up in whatever it is you're feeling. You just, like, you don't exist right now. And if you're going to exist again, that's fine. But today you don't. And y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like you in that mood where you're like, don't even let me smell you. Don't let me see one of your items around the house, because it might just set me off. Don't let anything happen to set me off. And you are like, just give me a reason. You feel me? You driving in your car. You going to hang out with your clan. And you like, fuck them. Got your hand on the wheel and your other hand on something that ain't related to that person, and you hitting that highway and you driving and you going hard. You like, fuck it, let me put on the radio and see what's up, right? Then here it come. I feel so comfortable with you. Next thing you know, you singing that song and that thing started hitting hard. You like, I ain't feeling so comfortable no more with my hand on the steering wheel heading out to my friends. Kind of want to snuggle with my baby. I'm missing those arms around me. I'm missing that beautiful, playful smile. I'm missing all those things that got me in this shit in the first place. That's what music does to us. It's very powerful. You unblock that phone. You click open on those messages. A lot of people still have relationships because of music. Its power is amazing. The way it not only fits our current moods and situations, but the ways it can massage us into a different place. If you feel in some kind of way and need to get to a different space, put on some music that is in that space that you want to be in and see what happens. Music is power. Words manifest destiny. Just think.
Hi, you're listening to You Betta THiNK, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass Allen. You better think. Don't be a zombie. Whether it's drama or comedy, you better think.
As I mentioned to you earlier, we have a lineup of guests to keep you going for the hour. The theme this month is music, and you hear we just shared some light on the power of music. Again, we're going to speak to the power of music with our next guest, who we're excited to have with us today. She has music running through her blood, her veins, her blood, her hair, from head to toe. I've had the pleasure of being acquainted with her and being very close to her for many, many years of my life. She's been very inspirational to me in the musical area. She's done it all, from mixing and mastering to DJing to promoting and anything you can think about when it comes to music. Her heart is definitely in line with many things that many of you are aware of, because you hear her delivering her music through the world. As we spoke of earlier, we all have gifts, and I think it's important for us to share them. I think that's why we're giving them. And again, we're blessed with our third person on the air today, who has been delivering her gifts to us. And many of you know her through her DJing skills, which are so fierce. There's not enough words to describe them. She's hit the air. She's done the market, the industry. She's had her own foundation. She's been everywhere. And we're welcoming to the air today Michelle Eisley. Michelle, just like with everybody else, I'm just going to get right into it with you. I've known you a long time, and I'm very thankful for that gift from the heavens. I've watched you grow as a musical genius, and I've watched you in the industry on so many levels as a DJ, a composer, producer, engineer, etc. Tell us which role you enjoy the most and what you like the most about the music industry.
Cass, thank you so much for having me on the show. I was about 17 years old, early 1980s, when I started hanging out in the legendary underground dance clubs of New York City. Namely, the Paradise Garage, Better Days, The Loft, Tracks New York City, Sound Factory, Vinyl, the Roxy, Palladium, the Saint, etc., etc. Wherever I could get into the club that featured disco and house music, I was there. Those clubs were like my happy, safe spaces where I could just have fun, just being myself, feeling real and fabulous. Of all the aforementioned categories of the music industry, I would say I enjoy mostly being a disc jockey, a DJ. I love and specialize in dance music, or some would say underground house music. I mainly play at exclusive private parties, internet radio, art exhibits, outdoor events, and festivals. What I enjoy about the role of being a DJ is having the ability to deliver the artist to a mass audience. I love seeing people dance, snap fingers, tap their feet, bop their heads, all to the music while I'm playing. And I love interacting with the crowd. I love evoking emotions, releasing emotions, and bringing people back down memory lane. All that good stuff. I really enjoy making people feel happy through playing music that the people want to hear and want to feel. I'm just thinking in my memories. DJ David DePino from the House of Extravaganza played at Club Tracks, New York City, I think from the mid to late 1980s. He played so fiercely one night at Tracks, I started crying. Like literally tears flowed down my face. I mean, good tears, happy tears, freedom feeling type tears. There's so many good DJs out there, but he was the only one to this day that has ever made me cry with tears of joy and freedom. Ooh, I have goosebumps just thinking of it. There's a song called Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. It's like, goes, last night a DJ saved my life. A lot of people heard that song. The original artist is In Deep, which was released in 1982. The words to this song is literal at times for some people. People could be at their worst in life until they step into the clubs, because I know I was one of them. We would hear the music, would take a peek at the DJ, see friends, family, soon to be friends, all together, like having a great time, dancing and socializing. DJs are lifesavers in my opinion. And I would like to be known as a lifesaver because music is medicine. I am the famous DJ you've never heard of. And what I like most about the music industry is its ability to bring creative people together.
You're listening to You Better Think, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass Allen. You better think. Don't be a zombie. Whether it's drama or comedy, you better think.
And that's exactly what's happening today, Michelle, on the show. I'm blessed to have all of you creative people with me you and the poetess Chanel, as well as Annette Taylor. Hi, Annette Taylor. To bring you in the conversation, I'd like to direct a question to you. At what age did you start singing, and did you want to sing when you first started, or was there adult influence? Like sometimes parents create their children's careers, so was that your experience? Please share with us.
I started singing when I was in elementary school. I'm from Oakland, California, and I went to Markham Elementary. And I'll never forget it. I tried out from an elementary school choir, and I didn't make it. But I still pressed on from there. Of course, I thought that I sounded good enough that I should have been a part of the choir, but they didn't choose me. But I still kept singing, at home. You know how you have the hairbrush, pretending that it's a mic, and I'm singing along. I'm listening to people like Aretha Franklin, of course, Natalie Cole, the Eisley brothers, James Brown, Patti LaBelle, all the greats. Motown was the bomb diggity when I was growing up, and I'm so glad that I came along when I did to be able to experience the best music ever. I mean, where you really had real musicians and real songwriters and real singers. You had to be able to throw down back in the when I was coming up in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Especially my younger years, the 60s and 70s, man. Sly Stone. I'm just thinking about all the greats. My biggest influences, of course, growing up first was Aretha Franklin. I had an aunt that I was very close to growing up, my Aunt Martha. And I can remember, I think maybe I was like about 15 or 16 years old. Anyway, one day I went to her house, and she said, today is Aretha Franklin Day. And so she played nothing but Aretha Franklin records. And this is really when I started really paying attention to Aretha Franklin, because she was playing her music all day. And I was like, yeah, I really got into that. And that's how I really got turned on to Aretha, because of my aunt. And I've been enjoying her. And I really believe that at that young age, me starting to listen to her, and of course, as you are trying to learn something, especially in music, you imitate. So I'm listening to Aretha, so man, I'm trying to sound like Aretha. So her influence is definitely, I think you could hear it in me. And then as I got a little bit older, when Natalie Cole came out, oh my God, I said, because Natalie reminded me of Aretha. So those two are my biggest musical influences, growing up as a kid, because, those are really your impressionable years, and, you're finding out what you like and who you want to be like.
Thanks for that, Annette. Chanel, let's bring you into the conversation, and let's add on to what Annette just mentioned about musical influences and favorite artists and songs. Chanel, what's one of your favorite songs and why? We'd like you to explain the mood it puts you in and what you think about when you hear it. Basically, don't just give us a name, but give us why it's your favorite.
Tarlac by Gwen Guthrie is one of my favorite songs because it brings me to a time when I was a kid and we would have these big barbecues in the park. Okay, and it would be so hot and sticky outside, and the grown-ups would be playing cards and barbecuing chicken and ribs, and the kids would be off to the side jumping rope playing games, and then I would be jumping rope with my 20 ponytails and 1700 barrettes in my head and my red jellies, and then we would eat ices, and the icy would be dripping all over my face and dripping all over my clothes. It was just about positive vibes and fun times during that era. And being a kid was something that was great. Great. We were able to be kids at that time, and that's what I love about that time. And that song is like nostalgia for me. And then as a grown up, the song stayed with me, and it actually helped me get through a breakup. And I was with this guy for like 3.5 years, and I found out he was dogging me with some chick in his school. And I was mad and hurt about it. And one day I just was thinking about things, and I started playing my music, and I put on padlock, and I had my wand, and I was dancing to the beat and dancing to the vibe. And I was like, I don't need this. I'm breaking up with him. So I called him and was like, come get your stuff. It's over. And he was like, you for real? I was like, yes, I am so for real right now. And like 3 hours later, he came and got his stuff. And he looked at me, and I looked at him. And he walked out, and I slammed the door. And that song actually made me feel empowered. It made me feel like I was making the right decision. And it gave me the courage to make the right decision, because I knew that he wasn't good for me at all. I realized he was not good for me at all. And even now, even when I listen to it now, I snap my fingers, and it just puts me in a good mood. Like the beat alone, and I just dance. I do my little two-step. So that's why Padlock by Gwen Guthrie is my all-time favorite song.
Hi, you're listening to You Better Think, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass Allen.
Thank you, Chanel, for sharing with us your favorite song. I love that song too, as I'm sure many do out here. And to bring Michelle Eisley back into the conversation, you are a favorite DJ to many of us. Tell us what you are up to, at least one thing, because I know there are many.
I'd also like to give a quick mention, Cass, that I will be dropping my album released by Eisley World Entertainment called Electronic Love Affair. It's going to be dropping in June of this year, 2022, on bandcamp.com. That's bandcamp.com. My music consists of deep house instrumentals with a touch of techno. It's going to be a little on the avant-garde side. And also like to mention that Cass Allen, who is a wonderful graphic designer, created the artwork on my album cover. And once again, Cass, thank you for having me on the show. You Better Think.
Michelle, thank you so much for honoring me with your appearance on the show You Better Think. Thank you for the accolades too at the end. Always a surprise. I can be a little quiet because I'm so busy doing, I forget to say. So thank you for that acknowledgement. You spoke to what it's like to be able to give your gift to the world and how you feel when people listen to your music. And I know there are so many people that play a role in, so many people that not only affect us, but we affect, as you said. And to bring Annette back into the conversation, Annette Taylor, for those who are just joining us, let's talk about someone who's had a great impact on you.
I'm so glad that my mother is my hero. She's the kind of parent that best parent ever. I'm so glad I have a mother like I have. Unfortunately, my father passed away when I was like 27. He was like 55. But my mother is still here. She's going to be 86 this year. And it was because of her influences, because of her lifestyle and the things that she liked. She took me around to a lot of entertaining events. And some of the ones that I remember is going to go see Edwin Hawkins and the Hawkins Singers. That's when Oh Happy Day just came out, because they're from Oakland, California. And I remember I was this is when I'm in just going out my sophomore year in high school. My mom takes me to a church, because she always would take me to different stuff, plays and all these kind of things. And I didn't know that I was going to go hear Walter Hawkins and the Hawkins Singers. When Walter came out with that first album, A Change Gonna Come, Going Up Yonder was on that album, and then of course A Change. Oh my God! And to hear them sing live, the way, oh man, when they were out there, they killed it. It was such a strong influence on me musically,
Annette, you bring up a great point about strong musical influences. And I had a friend. He was 16 years old, and he was also a quick learner. So he was also graduated from high school, and he was going to Pratt to study chemistry. And like myself, he had some extra time because we were no longer, we didn't have the 1900 classes and the book bag that we had to put on wheels like everybody else did at that time. So we had free time. So somehow he ended up in the party scene, and my mother adored him and thought I should marry this man. So anytime he wanted to see me, this young gentleman, she just let him take me like I was his little whore anywhere he wanted to take me. And he wanted to take me out on dates. Little did she know we were going to a gay club, and he was winking at boys and I was winking at girls. She just thought we were on our way to a generational black wealth through this relationship he and I were going to have. But that's neither here nor there. That's how I was able to go out so young, because my mom thought, oh my gosh, this fool is not going to look at little girls anymore. This her boyfriend, because he was gorgeous, let me tell you. Anyone who knows him will attest it. And yes, he was a model, a little boy model. And if you're listening, darling, I'm keeping you anonymous too. I love you. But the reason I mention this young man is because we met in school. We were very young, maybe 11. We met in these schools. And we bonded. We both went to Brooklyn Tech at a time where it was probably 900% Chinese people. Excuse me, Korean. I'm not sure of all the nationalities mixed in here, but we're just going to go with that. We were very different at that time. So he and I bonded and become very, very good friends, and also through our love for handball. And one day he asked me if I wanted to go dancing. I had never been dancing in my life. I didn't know what it was to dance outside of my home. He was my handball partner. We had gone through junior high together. We were in high school together. We had stood back to back together to fight. Like, this was my diehard twin in the form of a male. At the time, we had no discoveries about lifestyles. He had a girlfriend. He probably had 700 of them, because every girl in the school wanted to be his girlfriend. And yes, I was a little jealous, not because I wanted to be his girlfriend, because I never did. I just didn't want anybody else annoying us, because this was my handball partner. This was my study partner. This was my kiki partner. And all these little fluffy girls were just in the way of a good time. So anyway, he told my mother he wanted to take me out. And I got dressed in some cornball outfit, I'm sure. I probably had a Kango on my head and a vest and some tight-ass Jordache jeans or something like that. Who the hell knows? And some penny loafers, knowing me. And he took me to Better Days, a club in Midtown New York City that is no longer there. And it was the most amazing thing I had experienced at that time. And when that music began to play from everywhere in that room, I had heard nothing like it, and I was in awe. And I remember dancing all night until those lights came on at 4 o'clock, and they told us it was the last call for alcohol, probably 10 minutes before that. The coat racks were emptying, and I'm still dancing in bliss. And that was the first night I also heard the song Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. And I was so happy, and I felt so blissful. And a gentleman named T. Scott was DJing that night. Rest his soul as well. And from that day on, when I had a day that just had me not so, That was my haven until that place closed. It will always have a special memory in my heart. That man would take me many places throughout my lifetime, including my first experience at the garage where I had my first piece of what they called, I don't know, smiley face at the time that had me literally seeing elephants and all kinds of things I should not have seen. That's the night Grace Jones scared the hell out of me at the garage. I actually thought she was the gatekeeper to hell. Memories, such memories, but nevertheless, they were all with music, and it's probably that music that saved my life when I was doing things that we probably shouldn't have been doing, that we've all done. Okay, maybe not all, but a lot of you out there. Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sure some of you listeners were with me, and I know y'all remember that music. Never stop letting that music flow through you.
Hi, you're listening to You Better Think, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass Allen. You better think. Don't be a zombie. Whether it's drama or comedy, you better think.
Just like those DJs and people I just mentioned who helped to make my life memorable when it comes to music. They did something that some don't do. They answered their calling. Annette, for anyone who loves to sing, what message would you send about answering your calling?
For anyone who loves to sing or whatever your calling is, it has to be your passion. I have to go back with that because that's the best thing ever. You know, something that you know that you just love to do, that you have to do. There's not a day that go. It's like singing for me is a day with sunshine. If I don't sing, I don't have no sunshine. And you have to develop it. You have to study. I had a vocal. I started taking voice lessons when I was in high school. Of course, it started in elementary school, junior high. In choirs, when I was in my junior high school choir, and of course I went on to be a Castellier, and that's where I really started to developing my craft. I got a chance to be a part of a summer music program through Phil Reeder at UC Berkeley. It was the best. I got piano lessons, vocal lessons. I was in a choir. I was in a small ensemble. The best training ever. So you have to study and become good at what you do, and then you need the experience. You got to be out there. You got to be in front of an audience. I can be here in my house and I learn songs, but it's nothing like singing it for somebody else, because what I do is something that is a give and take. It's something that I need to express within, but it's okay for me, but it's something that needs to be shared. I have to share it. And this is what I would say, develop it, study, learn, do, sing as much as you can. That's why I didn't know, how I was going to become a professional singer and get paid when I came from Oakland, California here to New York City. But the best decisions that I did make for myself in helping me to develop my singing and to become a better singer and to become a better entertainer was singing in the Village in Washington Square Park and singing down in the subway system. Every day I'm singing, I'm learning songs. And the icing on the cake was the tips. Here it is, and I'm practicing, I'm rehearsing really, because some of the songs that I would do, I would learn them enough just to be able to go out and sing it, and I'd probably be looking at the words, but it became practice, because once you sing something over and over and over and over again, you get better at it, and I even get more ideas. I just recently saw Mahalia Jackson's a Lifetime story that was on Lifetime, and she said that what I really, the biggest thing I got out of that was that she never sang a song the same way twice. The piano player said she always had to watch Mahalia because Mahalia would always be doing something different. She never sang the same song the same way. And that has helped me. It's like, yeah, Annette, you can bend the note here, you can bend it there, you can do this, you can say that, you can change the words if you want to. I'm making it my own. It's about making it your own. And finding your style, finding out who you are, finding your sound.
Don't be a zombie. Whether it's drama or comedy, you better think.
Annette, you talk about finding your style. You definitely have a style, which is remarkable, which is why I can recognize your voice when I hear you singing. You are unique. You should know I'm going to ask you this because I love your voice. Gift us with anything that comes to your heart to sing.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When I'm singing in the subway, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm singing in the subway, I'm gonna let it shine. When I'm singing in the subway, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And everywhere I go, oh yes, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. I said, everywhere I go, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, my Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Well, there's nothing for us all to do except drop the mics. I don't need to tell you all what gift you just heard. Thank you so much, Annette Taylor, for gracing us with your presence today. Thank you so much, Poetess Chanel, for gracing us with your presence today. Thank you so much, Michelle Eisley, for gracing us with your presence today. I put emphasis on gracing us with your presence today to show you that you are gifts, to remind you that you are gifts and that we receive you. We must remember to remind each other how much we value and need each other. All of you make a great impact in my life on a personal level, and I thank you for that and coming on the show today. And on that note,
Hi, you're listening to You Better Think, sponsored by Born Gypsy and hosted by Cass Allen. You better think. Don't be a zombie. Whether it's drama or comedy, you better think.